All right, here we are. Nice and live. Let's chat. All right, my tests are working. Perfect. Do overlay. All right, nice and big. I can see everyone. For whoever's out there, I know Thursday afternoon, kind of a weird day. Set myself up on Instagram because I haven't figured out how to do that on Restream yet, so bear with me. All right, and now I am live on Instagram, and that is the best I'm going to get that camera. All right, so a little bit of time before I have some appointment stuff to take care of, and then karate stuff. That is the best I'm going to get. So usually I save this for my Patreon only page, but every once in a while I do like to put this on the free stuff. So going by this, because I still like to lay out my books before I get to page. Usually don't do it on exactly this. Usually just plain paper and notepad kind of works. So previous page. So again, I've got my 11 by 17 board, got it marked 10 by 15 here, and then I marked even further for live. And usually there's some kind of process of elimination I do like to do. But just so I tell a clear story, because it's not my story, I have to make sure that so see what we can do. This is page 8 of what was supposed to be a 10-page story, but I have to add more pages. Make sure I'm still here. Yeah, still live. All right. I don't know what the heck I drew here, so I'm going to refer to my script. Okay, so it looks like I kind of got myself 2 panels here. There we go. Actually, you know what? I will change this a little bit. I was going to break this down into 2 panels, but I will do 1 instead. Okay, whoever is online, feel free to stop in, say hi. If you want to chill and chat, that's cool too. Actually, let me check my Twitch here just to make sure that I can. Like, if there is anyone out there that is feeling comfortable, can you all see what I'm laying down here? Do I have to? That didn't help at all. All right. And I'm bumping into everything. But anyone that's out there, feel free. Like, if you guys and gals, however you identify, I'm old and don't get things anymore. I try, but I don't always succeed. You guys can see what I'm actually laying down here. Let me know if you can't. I'll do what I can to adjust. I'd like to like my studio space is a continuing evolving um, thing. So who I'm sketching right now is a character called Ek, and she is a Cyclops. Which is funny because every time I think of Ek, I can't help but think of when cats get into hunting mode and they start chirping. This is the weird stuff that happens when I don't interact with people. And I probably am overthinking this a lot, but I imagine a Cyclops with like a unibrow and try to figure out how to convey emotions from that. I like to do the multiple piercings. Give her a few, about 3, 4 earrings on each side. And I do kind of sometimes draw outside of my panel a bit just to make sure that things don't kind of go too far astray, that they still make sense anatomically. Now, I'm by no means an anatomy expert. You know what? I will bring down a bit my webcam. Maybe that'll. So bring that down a bit. My webcam, my phone cam, that is about as low as I can get it. So, yes, this is what I do on my days off. Because a little thing about me, when I'm not doing this, I am a steel worker. I work for my local steel mill. And I work shift. Again, the downside is, even though it's a consistent schedule, it is a mix of days and nights, and my body doesn't bounce back from that the way it used to in my 20s or even my 30s or early 40s. But the upside is that I have more than 2 days off a week, full days. So that means I do have days in the middle of the week that I can, if everyone else in the family is doing stuff, I can just kind of do this. And the other thing, I don't letter. So I'm going to hint at a bit of a background, but I do like to put it like layout letter balloons just so I can figure out what kind of background stuff. And again, I'm not a background guy. It's something get out of necessity. I always envy the background guys. One of my favorite artists is John Romita Jr., and this is an older book, but the one thing I always found with his work, on top of the top-notch storytelling, is that his places and backgrounds look like places and backgrounds. Like, I have no problem believing that his, like, New York, like his New York looks like authentic and real. And I try as I might, don't think I'll ever get to that level. Um, so the upside with what I've got going on with my script story right now is my first I've been doing TikTok Tom stories for about coming up to 5 years this fall, so a bit of an anniversary, 5 years, yay. The first 4 stories I did, I was I wrote them, I drew them, I colored them, and I lettered them. Now, early on, like, all the lettering I did digitally because my penmanship is just awful. So, is this panel? This is where I get I don't know why I measured that. Okay, so first panel is pretty basic. We've got Ek pointing at an object, or pointing in a direction, and her dialogue is going to go here. Roughly, background's going to be generic building. This building going to be the coffee shop, but I will later I've got a bit of reference. Some of it I got printed out, some of it's on my phone, but got some reference for some buildings. I'll go in a little bit later and figure that out. I've already been rambling for 15 minutes now. Jeez. All right. So that is showing up a little better. I can't move my iPhone camera arm down. Actually, for my Twitch and YouTube viewers, you can actually see my camera right there in the background. There. Commented on my own Instagram. That's terrible. So I'm just going to call up my last page here. So I can't. So I have brow in the van, so I'll be using that. And again, I've got pictures of a van. You know what? I'm going to put the van in this shot. And this is the messy back and forth process that I do, but this is, I have to admit, this is a little bit different for me. Again, my first 4 stories with TikTok Tom, I was able to write and draw my own stories because they were anthology books. Kind of like what your old school Archie comics, be a one unifying theme, and all of us would kind of write and draw our own stories of said theme. Yeah. And my pencil is getting very short. This actually might be the video where, oh, I have hit the point where I can't comfortably sharpen now. So once I wear this to the nub, that is it. On to the next pencil. Now, usually in the background, I'll have some kind, if I'm not on camera, like anyone else, I'll listen to a TV show that I've seen a million times, or music or podcast. But I think the last time I tried to listen to music, now Twitch will kind of let me live stream with like music, but if there's anything copyright, will kind of block it. I remember listening to the radio on Instagram, and one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite bands came on, and it just, Instagram just absolutely seized up on me. I was so annoyed that I didn't even bother continuing. Just kind of, so okay. So I will put a bit of a door here, and you'll have to see kind of the gag I worked out here. When the book is out, oh, just want to sleep there. Again, the gag with Brow here is that he is a big person. I didn't. The first story I drew with him, that book, I believe, I can't remember if that book is out yet, or if it is. If it is part of what I'm working on now. This will be kind of the third story, like third black and white story I've done as part of this overall arc. So I can't remember if there was one part or two part, or if this is part of the big book. But the last arc I drew, this was the character. His name is Brow. Yeah, and he has two eyes, but he has one eyebrow and a unicorn. Kind of a surly biker dude. And I enjoyed, once I got over my initial reluctance to kind of draw a motorcycle, because for as much as I like drawing and cartooning, left to my own devices, it's always if I don't have to put like anything more complex than like a sliver background or whatever. Sorry, just kind of reading. And this is where I got lost for some reason when I printed this out the first time. Um, Turns out I'm missing an entire paragraph. So. Okay, I'll have to do a little bit of rejigging, but very rarely do I actually like small panels. I have done small panels. I don't dislike them. They're actually pretty useful for certain storytelling um, devices, but very quiet today. So I think because fortunately for me, I'm not the letterer this time. I don't have to worry about that. I can actually even. So I've got options for dialogue here. There's enough space for it. There's nothing kind of getting into the way. Yeah, what'll be my next panel? So just because I have, oh, hey Peter, wait, there, hi. So I got one person on Instagram. If you're still there, how's it going? And can you see and hear me clearly? So yeah, a bit of a sneak peek of a page I'm kind of working out in real time. Earlier in the video, I kind of showed my layouts. Oh, nice. Rare morning off. Those are nice. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I always wonder when I do these live and in real time, especially with the setup I have now. I have a webcam over me that is live streaming to my Twitch and YouTube channels, and then I'm using my phone for Instagram. I'm using Restream, but I've never been able to get Restream to work. Like, it works great for, like, again, YouTube, Twitch, and you're going live on Facebook. I haven't tested LinkedIn, and when I was on Twitter, um, I go on that from time to time too. Removed myself from Twitter late last year after all of the magnification in the States. Just couldn't handle it anymore. But yeah, so I'm just kind of walking through my process of like how I go for a page, especially like this is a bit new for me. Again, the first few stories I did for TikTok Tom, I was able to write and draw my own stuff. Then the last couple of stories, Chetan gave me the story, which was a basic plot and layouts like this. So I was able to just, um, do the layouts and add a few things. Got a kind of a partial plot and script here this time. So, like, there's a destination I need to get to, but I can kind of get like kind of have options on how to get there. So I've got a little bit of freedom, a little bit, actually, a decent amount of freedom. Never call doing TikTok Tom stuff um, restrictive by any stretch. The fact that I've had been able to put in so many weird things with other people's creations has been great. But, so, all right, I've got one extreme close up, another close up. So I might do a mid shot this time. But yeah, I haven't mastered digital yet, so I still get on with the boards. Um, so maybe what I will do is maybe a medium shot. And then I was thinking of laying out another page, but I keep forgetting to print up. When I printed up my initial story, somehow a paragraph, which is a paragraph, went missing. So I'll have to retrieve that paragraph next. Back of and here, actually, you know what? So I will say, if nothing else, I do like having if I'm filming with my phone and my laptop. Um, don't even have a desk to work on. Get a new one soon, I hope. Oh, I remember. Um, that was my first TikTok Tom story. So what? Um, like I totally blew the deadline, and then after getting called out for it, I had a kitchen flood, which wrecked the artwork I had done, along with my desk and along with everything that was under my kitchen, which was pretty much my studio. So I remember um, I did have a portable drafting table, and for a while there, I was I got the kitchen table with that, and um, all that fun stuff. So I can relate to a point. But yeah, hopefully you get your like, are you is it just a plain desk, or are you actually getting like a drafting table? Getting one from Amazon or Michaels. Okay, okay. Yeah, I've got an L-shaped desk here, which turned out I ordered too small for my drafting board, and it doesn't fit any of my comic stuff. So I bought a bigger just desk, both from Small Angled Drawing Table. Nice. Um, I've thought about whether or not I want to get a drafting tape, like one of those Futura ones, the one with the like glass surface. That way I can have a light kind of underneath, so I can kind of use that as a like light table as well. I do have a light table that actually a longtime friend constructed for me ages ago. That's great too. So I might not bother. I might actually just stick with this current setup. But mm, yeah, they can be a little pricey though. I think they're like few $100s more than your kind of plain wood. Uh, Kind of plain wood or plain finished drafting tables. Um, and there's also still like a part of me. Anyone else that was a child of the 80s or 90s at some point, I'm pretty sure most everyone's parents had that one glass coffee table in the living room growing up. And I'm pretty sure one of those glass coffee tables got wrecked at some point. Yeah, same here. But we were always one good roughhouse away from breaking it. But yeah, I remember those things like were big. They were heavy. Holy crap! I know we always I know my brothers and we always danced on the cusp of breaking one, but geez, never actually came close to losing an eye. Hmm. No, they're not. Not in the slightest. Still trying to figure out the perspective on this last. panel. Well, if I have everything kind of straight. Not that anyone's watching on my Twitch or YouTube anyway. Yeah, exactly. Um, um, and I know I talked to Chet and probably talked to you a bit about this too. Anyone that's kind of known me, I'm one of those. I didn't get into comics until the late 80s, early 90s, which was that kind of Image era. And not all of the not all of the Image guys drew authentic backgrounds. Don't get me wrong. Um, it looked cool and it was fun to watch, but every once in a while you kind of need to put real in. So I like trying to, like anyone else, put all their influences together to um, just something that's still fun to look at, but still good storytelling. And get up here a bit. Let me find a blank sheet of paper. What? No. Little trick I like to do here is if I can. I see my problem. I see exactly what my problem is. And all that clanging, that is my lamp. This is fun to watch, all the erasing. So what I will do is I'll finish out this figure here. Because this is on blank sheet of paper, what's funny is no, she does not. Because well, not when I'm down here anyway. Where I'm at right now, I have my own little studio space, and it is in the basement of my house. It is directly above my kitchen. Um, it's kind of a perfect little spot. if anyone here, shameless plug for the Geek Shop YouTube channel, that is Chetan and Chris, you know that. But I've done a few interviews, and one of those interviews had my studio space. So my studio space is just a little room directly underneath my kitchen. Um, Around the corner is what used to be a woodworking shop, and then my laundry room. But yeah, no, because this is kind of an area she kind of has to pass to get to everything else. It's something that's not on her mind. That said, I do also. Okay. So yeah, if you've seen mine with the studio, like I'm in a little part of my basement, but I do every once in a while I do actually work on erasing, sweeping up the eraser. So. Oh, thank you. So, and it's funny. This is kind of a like little bit of a trick, and in the years I've been trying to learn how to draw comics, I never thought, oh, oh, nice. My parents' basement. It's funny. Growing up, I actually did end up getting a studio space, like a studio space, in my house growing up. Our basement wasn't really good for like putting like a rec room and whatnot. But on the upper level of our house, my dad had constructed a little room for his old computer and whatnot, and then but it was a just an old Vic 20, and I guess when the interest kind of went away, um, and other did a renovation on the other half of the house, which resulted in my one younger brother getting the larger bedroom. So kind of a way to comp for that was they gave me, um, and now that my dad had another room for all of his stuff, that little room uh, I was allowed to have for my studio space. Then that renovation got changed. But yeah, there was like a brief few years that I actually did have a separate room for just my studio. Hello, I got people on Instagram. Yay. All right. Hello. So for anyone just joining me, this is just me trying to draw a comic page and kind of real time problem solve all the fun and excitement that comes with that. So now I can still have a mirror there. I can still do E. So, and then I will say the nice thing about the digital age, I have my iPad right next to me. That's the only thing that's not being used. For those watching me on Instagram, I am streaming that from my phone. For those, I'm also using Restream to stream to my Twitch and YouTube channels as well. I'm using the free one that. Oh dear. Let's Sorry about that. Came across. I thought I actually had someone watching on Twitch, and then it just turned out to be a bot. Get more people. and I block those. As much as I'd like to have the likes and all that, I'd kind of rather build up my base a little more organically, and if it's not the biggest base, I'll at least know it's a quality base. That's going to be the bumper. So I'm not going to focus on everything down here. This was just kind of to help me figure out my perspective where I was having my problems. Not that this is going to be perfect, mind you, because this is still a weakness. Because there. I do try. So can I actually delete that? Sorry, I blocked the one thing, but it's still kind of showing up. I do. I do. What is that? That is I do. I actually run like on the like through the Restream. There's actually a countdown that I can set up, like a few minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, which then I use that to kind of share to my various social medias that I don't do the videos on. Only recently, because I have such issues using Restream with Instagram, I just decided, you know what? I'll just go back to what I was doing, use the Restream with my webcam for YouTube and Twitch, and then use Instagram just to stream to Instagram. And for those that legitimate people that are watching my YouTube and or Twitch and can't see the comments popping up, this conversation is happening on my Instagram. I think my problem is I don't set consistent times and days for when I do live stream. Like right now, I just kind of happened to this was my day off, and I've found that I couldn't have much time in the evening to do this. Another little thing that I don't know if anyone knows about me is I'm a karate student slash teacher. I've been at that for 29 years, give or take a few years, thanks to the pandemic, and then me taking a while to get back into it. But I got back into it last fall on a part-time basis because of my shift work. I can't dedicate both the Tuesday and the Thursday, so I'm a part-time student, and tonight is that karate night for me. So there's Sack there. Some of the more successful artists I have on my feed dedicate a particular time. My one friend on Twitch, my one friend stateside, if you ever check out his Twitch and YouTube channels, called Kirk's Pencils. Like he's always on Twitch doing a little something every Friday in the early evening, about 6:30, 7-ish. But yeah, he's here too on Instagram if you want to give him a follow. He's a great artist and even better human being all around. Just a great all around dude. I highly recommend checking that out. I have to start like figuring out how I want to do like organizing this, because I just kind of pop up at, oh, it's Thursday, I'm gonna draw a TikTok Tom page. No, I've gotten fat and a little lazy too. That's been part of my problem. I also have an extremely, when I'm not doing this, I have an extremely sedentary job. I'm a crane operator, so I sit in my little box for 2 5-hour blocks. Set up a link for Kirk. Let's see if I can. I don't know if that'll. No, that didn't work the way I wanted. Okay. But yeah, I thought that that tag would have worked a little better, but that should point you in the right direction. But yeah, watching his art is always great. We've never. It's funny, we've never actually met face to face, because he's in Ohio. I think Ohio, and I'm here in Canada. But we have the we both have a drawing mentor out in California, which is kind of how we met online. I don't know if you've ever gone on the YouTube channel, look up the YouTube channel Cartoon Block. Has a bunch of drawing tutorials, and we actually study online with him. Conducts once a week, classes once a week for us. And oh, and that is my pencil worn down to the nub. So I won't need that extender for a regular pencil for a bit. So on to the next one. This is going to be funny because it's a different graphite. But I've kind of hit a phase where I'm starting to kind of, I don't know about anyone else, but made that a little too big. Okay, but yeah, definitely look up Cartoon Block. I don't think there's much too new there, but he has a bunch of tutorials. But he also has videos of when he's gone to conventions. And gotten various artists to draw on camera for him. Guys like Todd Knock, Ryan Benjamin, Will Spertaccio. One of the more interesting ones is got to be in his early 20s now, but I was made aware of a kid, Ethan Callisto. But anyway, this kid was drawing at conventions since he was 10, and like, even if all of the like anatomy wasn't like exact or anything like that, oh, absolutely, the young man was like great at getting kind of raw energy out of his drawings, and I feel like that's kind of missing in today's comics. I hate to be that old guy, but like, and I get it, during my era of comics, there wasn't as much of a focus on the storytelling versus like the pinup, and backgrounds didn't make sense. Like, And then when that got kind of watered down to imitators, like I found that kind of a lot of like proper storytelling and all that kind of got lost in that 90s era. These days we've got like clear and precise storytelling, but I feel like there's like a lot of kind of life and raw energy kind of missing out of that stuff. And I don't know if it's just an observation I've had or if I've kind of hit that age where like I don't like today's comics, that long, like that sort of setup. Like, but I feel like there's gotten to be a little too much over reliance on like using reference to the point where figures are flat out traced. I mean, sure, they're anatomically correct, but um, I don't know. It could just be a me thing. Pardon me while I ramble. So, all right. So I think I got my problem more or less solved here. Yeah, and I think and it's funny because like I'm making a conscious effort not to be like all, oh, today's stuff is like terrible and it sucks. Like there's a part of me that I wonder where I just kind of have to like acknowledge my age and be like, I like, I am well into my 40s. Like some of this stuff that I grew up with has become not for me, and not because it's bad or because it's not done well. It's because that I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not even in my 30s. And in a few less years than I care to admit. No, they don't. And that's kind of where I've been looking a lot of the indie stuff, the cartoonist kayfabe stuff. And then there's like the part of my midlife that is like recollecting stuff. Like right now, even though I have these issues, I just got this a few days ago in the mail. Still stands like out of all the Image stuff, this is the one I still actively read month in and month out. And even though I again have these back issues, I'll still pick up the trade like the hardcovers like a sucker. All because they have these. Well, I don't think future versions will have that, but I do kind of love like the sketchbook stuff that they threw in, and that's. I think that was also something that kind of got me out of a lot of the monthly comics the last 20 odd years or so. Now that they're like designed, um, kind of designed to be like kind of a trade paperback format or graphic novel format. I just found economically for some books I was reading, like I was big on the New Avengers stuff. That was the last kind of era. I was kind of big on Marvel. Um, but I found that instead of waiting month in, month out for the issues, if I waited once a year, got the hardcover, they included like all the variant covers, like the sketchbook stuff, plots and scripts, like ideas that like didn't make it in the book. Like, and I thought, wait, why would I collect the floppies when like at a monthly basis at like back like 20 years ago it was like $4 or $5 a pop. I don't even know what they are now, but I found for like a comparable price, like I can trade weight and get everything in a nice like hardcover that I can put on a bookshelf, and I'd get those autographed too at conventions. Some of my think I have an Amazing Spider-Man omnibus that I managed to get signed by Stan Lee. $7 each comic. Yeah, like out of my current file out, for anyone that doesn't like that's not in my area, I live outside of Toronto in a place Oshawa, and my default comic shop is Worlds Collide. I only have two comics out of my pull list. One is Savage Dragon. That's about set like $7 or $8, except for the last one I got, what was 100-page giant. That was about $10. But again, that was 100-page story, no advertising. But yeah, $7 a comic for a month, and then if you start getting into like crossover events, that's kind of what got me out of reading a lot of comics when when twice a year there was always a crossover event that kind of forced you to read the other comics that you didn't like. When I was a teenager, and that Image boom came about, the only Marvel book I was really picking up on a regular basis, Chetan and I talk about this all the time, it was the Spectacular Spider-Man run by J.M. DeMatteis and Sal Buscema. And as much of an Image kid as I was, I still enjoyed Sal Buscema's work. Like I always thought, like there's not an overabundance of lines, but my God, every panel he drew was like complete. Like again, buildings look like buildings. Back in that era, writers used to like if there was a page like a splash page or whatever, writers I swear they got paid by the word to kind of put in all the text, but like DeMatteis kind of allowed Buscema to show off the page without like adding unnecessary text. It was actually just to see like the writer give him that kind of free reign to just show the story, and it was like it was great. But then at a point for about years, like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men kind of did that. Like it was always a crossover. So instead of reading like Amazing Spider-Man month in and month out, you'd have to read Amazing one week, Spectacular the next week, Web of the follow. Like so, it was kind of weekly comics. But if you kind of missed anything, then you were out of the loop. Like only last year or so, I finally picked up Maximum Carnage, and oh, that's on me. That wasn't that great. Um, but it was something I didn't read as a kid. But yeah, $7 a comic, and you're not getting like a full, like a lot of the comics are being built for trade. So, like, very rarely would you get, like, when we were kids, like, you'd get a one comic and it could be just an independent story, or maybe you'd get like a two-part or three-part or four-part story. Like these days, you know that the story you're going to get is like minimum six-part, maybe eight-part, or 12-part. So you wouldn't even get like at $7 a month, you wouldn't even get a beginning, middle, and end. So again, like I thought, why pay the $7 a month for maybe even a little bit of a cheaper price, or if you even like pick up a trade paperback or hardcover, like at say Indigo Books or Amazon, you can even pick up a sale, and that's one comic with a complete story that you get once a year, nice hardcover. Even get those, even get that autographed. And for a lot of artists, they put a limit on how many books you can sign. So you get like one big hardcover instead of 25 issues. Like, sorry, I just went on a big tirade there. But yeah, like it's an expensive hobby these days. But yeah, I've only got two. I collect my dragon, and I've been digging the current Transformers book out. It's like what 40-something-year-old me would read in a Transformers comic. So, yeah, so old man rant about comics these days now over. I hope. But yeah, if I do, now the other nice thing that they have, like that's good now that I don't remember having as a kid. Now this is because I grew up in Newtonville, and I'm pretty sure our local library didn't have a lot of comics. These days, you can get like my local library now. You can get some comics. You can get some like some hardcovers, some soft covers, like some old, like older stuff, some newer stuff. If I want me to get rid of my books. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I only buy 2 books a month, and then like once or twice a year when these Dragon Ultimate like hardcover collections come out, I'll get those. It's actually not a lot of books myself. I don't get the. It's actually funny. I do the odd decluttering of my books, like I just donated a bunch to my local Talese, like some Batman books, Grant Morrison, Andy Kubert, because I ended up getting the hardcover for that, and that hardcover is autographed by Andy Kubert himself. So I keep that on my bookshelf, but the individual ones I donated, and if anyone buys them or if the employees decided, ooh, cool, Batman comics, let me read, then all the better. So still went out and bought a few issues of that Absolute Bat. Oh, is that not not like Absolute Batman and Robin by Jim Lee, but Absolute Batman that was done by that started off with John Romita Jr. or the current Absolute. I forget that there's a current line of Absolute books. Like, yeah, or I don't know. You're if I remember, you're out in Uxbridge, yes. I found that here in Oshawa, maybe Uxbridge has the same too, but we've got a few houses. Okay, we have a bunch of houses like that in their front yard. Put up these little sheds, these like little lending libraries, like about the size of a birdhouse. But you take a book out, you put a new book in, and something that I kind of should maybe consider doing is maybe putting like some of the old comics I don't really read anymore. I've since oh, Mount Albert Newmarket. Okay, so I've got that mixed up. I don't know why I thought Uxbridge. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, but I keep thinking some of the books I've since gotten in duplicate or that I've since bought newer, like nicer copies, or for a while there, I was building up quite the collection on Comixology before Amazon bought it. But yeah, that might be something I consider doing too. Because I don't know. Growing up, I did a lot of traveling with the family, and there was a point. My first like couple years, like last year of junior high, like my first maybe couple years of high school, we used to go on these big. Had an RV, and my entire family used to like for a month would like pick a coast and like kind of do a lap around, which meant a lot of Costco stops, and sometimes get like Costco used to have, and Walmart used to have like these discount comics, like a dozen or so comics, and they were ridiculously cheap, like $5 or something, and you'd get a dozen books. The only problem was you didn't always know what was in them. But the ones that were displayed, like, oh, I don't have these. These look cool. And then they kind of sneak in some stuff that you wouldn't really read. It kind of sucks that they don't have those anymore, because that was like again, a dozen comics for $5. I think part of it was a lot of the um, books would start to repeat, so I'd end up with like 5 or 6 copies of like one random issue of Wonder Man. That might have been why they didn't do so hot, but I've got a few of those kicking around in the old boxes, so, or other stuff that I've since like bought in, like repurchased in trade or hardcover or digital. But yeah, there was a point where I was starting to get the quite the Comixology, because they used to have really good sales. I actually remember within the first like couple weeks of Chadwick Boseman's passing, Comixology actually put together like this massive list of Black Panther comics that you could actually download and keep for free. And they'd do that once in a while, or at Christmas they'd have a half off sale. I was able to keep up with my Dragon collection. I spent a lot of years laid off from my main job, and the jobs I had were kind of enough to scrape by with my mortgage and keep everyone fed, but there wasn't like much room for upkeeping a comic collection. So, so like I wasn't. There was about 4 or 5 years where I wasn't collecting any comics, and then when I got my job back, I had about 4 or 5 years worth of Savage Dragon to pick up, and I've never been super fussy on the format that I got that in. And I found that as I got older, because I don't collect the never like I don't collect a lot of the comics to make money. Collecting in the '90s, it kind of became a moot point anyway. I always liked the content, so if I had it in floppy or like hardcover or digital, like I wasn't as fussy about it. And again, before Amazon, well, actually, even now with Amazon, if you catch them on a good day, you can. Like I was able to buy um, 3 big arcs of X, like '90s era X Men and X Force, various crossovers. I think I ended up paying like $20 for a set, and it was like 3,000 pages worth of like kind of that era I was enjoying. So now I have to go through um, my physical copies, because I know I've got physical copies of those books, but they're not all in the greatest of shapes anyway. Some of them were bought back when convenience stores used to sell comics. Um, so those I have to consider donating, because I know I won't get any kind of retail value for them. That's the darndest thing. Like, but yeah, but yeah, if check around your neighborhood if there are like lending libraries in your area, what you could do with your like some of the old comics that you're willing to part ways with. Um, like yeah, put them in a few lending libraries. At the very least, might help get another kid into the comic shop, or on Amazon, whatever they're going at these days. Still nothing on my Twitch. I see viewers on my Twitch and YouTube, but yeah, that was something that I was made aware of on Cartoonist Kayfabe. That a lot of them just jam these lending libraries with comics, and I thought, oh, that is a great idea. I keep thinking if I actually had any kind of skill set with tools, like I'd consider putting one in my own front yard. But I don't. So, what time is it? It is almost 2. Okay, so I've been at this for 5-minute countdown, so I've been at this almost an hour and a half. I'll probably be plugging and tinkering away with this page a little bit later, but I might consider logging off soon because I have realized I have not eaten lunch yet, and my stomach is starting to make some noises that I'm fearing are starting to show up on the on my microphone or my headset. So but yeah, to start from a blank page to this took me about 90 minutes. I did have a layout set up that took me a few minutes, and then it'll probably take me a long time to add all the finer details if I want to add like more specific things to the building here. But yeah, so but for the most part, this is kind of my thought process on pages. Um, like how I consider how I might want to do. Like I made sure that I had bigger, like that my panels are bigger. That way I can leave room for. Oh, thank you. I can leave room for dialogue if I need to, and if Garrick, my writer, thinks that I've actually conveyed enough in the storytelling that maybe some words can get pared down, I still have background stuff. All right, but yeah. All right, but thank you for joining me and keeping me company, Peter. And yeah, I hope one of these days I will actually unclog my brain and actually organize these and like schedule them and keep with the schedule. But that day is not today. But I will head out. Thank you very much. You too. And yeah. Um, but yeah, this is also as live as this is here on Instagram. Also live on Twitch and YouTube. So any followers there help me out greatly. All right, I'll shut off the Instagram now. And have a good day, Instagram folk. And I'll see you later. And now for